So here are my chicken eggs, which I have baked in the oven. Don't worry, they've cooled off in here for a while. I baked them in the oven in order to sanitize them, and also they crush a little easier. Here are the shells that I have already crushed up. I just use the back of a spoon right now because I need a mortar and pestle. But soon I'll hopefully be finding one of those, and that'll help greatly. But for now, I just use a spoon. So I just gotta get these out of here. So the reason that I am crushing up the chicken egg shells, is because chickens use up a lot of calcium. I give them chicken feed, which should be a balanced diet and have a lot of calcium in there, but this is making a treat for them, so I thought I'd add in the calcium from their shells. And there's nothing wrong with doing this as long as the eggshell pieces don't resemble eggshells, because otherwise they might start eating their own eggs. So since there are different sizes of eggshell pieces here, as you can tell, there's even some powder right at the bottom there. I'm not going to be giving it all to the chickens. That's why I have this on my witchy vlog, is that apparently the powder, I'm sure I could use these crumbly bits as well, but I'm going to be taking just the powder if I can. The powder is really good for protection spells. So what I'm going to be doing to do that is I have an empty bowl here, and I have some cheesecloth right here. Hopefully this will work. Some cheesecloth, elastic band. Oh, this is a narrow, wide top, narrow bottom. Oh, that'll work. Yeah, that'll work too. So I'm just going to be taking the spoon here and putting that on top. That works. Maybe I should just do this whole thing. Go. Yeah, see all that powder at the bottom? Oops. See all the powder at the bottom there? So that's what I want. I want the fine stuff. The chickens can have all this other stuff. Chickens, actually, I didn't know this until we went to go buy the chickens. Our chickens aren't even a year old yet. They were born last May. Is apparently the way they grind up their food is they have little rocks in their throat, in a little pouch in their throat, and that's how they grind up their food. So if there's little sharp bits right here, that's okay, because either A, the rocks in their throat will grind it up, or B, this stuff will help grind up the other food in their throat. I have been looking to make little satchels or pouches, which is kind of why I got the cheesecloth in the first place, for making little door hangers with salt in them. But now I'm thinking I can also put a little bit of this egg powder in there, because it's supposed to be really good for protection. See, that was like, I don't know, at least probably like 8-10 eggs. And the 8-10 eggshells really don't produce that much. Here, let me show you what the eggs actually look like. These are the chicken eggs from earlier today. That's their size. Size comparison to my spoon. It's still early on in the year, so they're producing small-ish eggs. As you can tell, this one's a little smaller than that one. Not all the hens are at, one hen started way before the rest of them, so they're all kind of producing different size eggs. But apparently I have Jersey Giants, black Jersey Giants. Apparently they're supposed to produce pretty big eggs, but right now they're still on the smaller side. I guess they're probably about medium small. So a moment of truth, let's take this cheesecloth off and see if I actually got the right type of powder that I wanted to get. Now, how to take this elastic band off without spreading the eggshells everywhere. Okay, let's just do that. There we go. Not as fine as I wanted, but it's actually pretty good. I think this is a good, it's actually kind of sparkly. I don't know if you can see that on the camera, but it's actually kind of sparkly. The eggshell powder is supposed to be very good for protection and a few other things, I think, but my main use for it is going to be for protection. And now to put the part that I'm actually going to be giving back to the chickens, the bigger part, put that back in there. The next thing I'm going to use is my old used green tea bags. Apparently green tea grounds are just as good for chickens as they are for us, and it's perfectly okay to use my used green tea from this past couple days. So I'm going to cut these open and put them in here. I'm hoping to make, these are green tea from Costco, Kirkland, and they're not a paper green tea or a tea bag. They're like some sort of silk synthetic material. So I was thinking I could maybe use these to hold the little satchels for hanging out my door of salt and eggshell. Anyways, there's my green tea. I'll be throwing that into my mix. I don't really have a set thing of what I'm going to put into my mix. Next I have some green lentils, which are perfect little bite sizes for the chickens, except they should be softened up at least a little bit. Even though I am going to be freezing these little cookies in the freezer later, they should still be softened up a little bit. So I'm going to put them in here. I don't know, I'm just sort of winging this. There's no set amount. I just want a little bit in there. I'm not going to make the whole thing about these, but a little bit in there. And then I'm going to add some water. Just a little bit. And I'm going to microwave those out of the microwave. You can tell they've made the water go green in there. I don't know if you can see that. Sort of turn into a tea there. I'm going to let them sit a little bit longer as they cool down, and I'll probably throw that water into my mixture as well. I might end up having too much water, I don't know, but has all the nutrients in the green. The other thing I am going to soak and probably put in the microwave just to speed up the dissolving process. Is that clear? Yeah, this is their feeder pellets. This is what they normally eat. This is their regular food, and it just goes to mush when it gets wet. So I'm actually going to use it as in the mush form to solidify everything along with the coconut oil and to make it more into a solid cookie. So I'm going to add the water to this as well. Obviously it won't go mushy right away, but not too long. I'll put it in the microwave. This is what the feeder pellets look like right out of the microwave. They're like a cereal. They're like a warmed up oatmeal now. Coconut oil, and as you can see right here, pretty big glob. It's also good for pets. It's an antifungal, it's an antiviral, and it's an antibacterial. So it's just a kind of a good one to throw in, but it will help in this cold weather. It probably won't be a good binder in the summer, but in this colder weather, it'll be a good binder for the cookie as well. So in that goes. Heat that up. Let's start mixing this all together. This is the bowl I'm going to use. It's just a clear plastic bowl, but it would be easy to see things. So I'm going to start with the dry ingredients first that I'm just going to throw in there. Oats, like birdseed, and the quinoa I will be adding. Just their grain. They add some protein and some other nutrients. I think there might be iron in steel cut oats. I also have some True Roots organic quinoa. I'll add a little bit of that in there. There's a quinoa. All these grains are going to soak up the water I have from soaking the lentils, the green lentils. 2 shots of that. I'm just using my little Canadian metal shot glass here. This mixture, they go nuts over it. This is their treat. They love birdseed. So I'll probably put in 2 cups of that to get them to go for it. Next, I'm going to put in some turmeric, because turmeric is very healthy. It's healthy for us, and it is healthy for them. They don't particularly like the taste of turmeric. That's why I want to put in treats in here, like the birdseed, because otherwise they just don't eat this stuff. So there's some turmeric there, maybe a little bit more. Also, turmeric is going to make their egg yolks very yellow. Also, I'm going to use a little bit of oregano, not as much as the turmeric. Oregano is just a good one to have. It's, again, it's another good antibacterial and whatnot. I don't have much of it here. I'm just going to use a little bit. They probably wouldn't like the taste of this either. I've tried giving them fresh herbs of rosemary and thyme and fresh oregano, and they didn't like it. So, just going to put a little bit in there. That'll get covered up by the other things I'm gonna put in there. Mix that up a little. Eggshells. All this looks like the same color. Same stuff, the same color. I don't know if you can see the glitteriness in that. The eggshells are pretty glittery. Mix all the dry stuff up. It's easy to mix at this stage. Ooh, I can really smell that turmeric in there. Next, I have the green tea, because it's the least wet of all the wet things I have to put in there. And mix that up. Next, I am going to put the coconut oil in the microwave now, because I need the coconut oil to go into this almost at the very end, because it does go hard again right away as soon as it's softened up. So I need it to be one of the last ingredients so that it spread evenly all throughout the mix. So while I'm waiting for that to microwave, I'm going to throw in the green lentils and their water. I'll mix those in, and as you can see, that water is making things go a little bit chunky, which is kind of what we want, so that's fine. I'm going to add are those pellets, because they're a little drier than the coconut oil is going to be. Maybe I should have waited to put these in when they were more liquidy, because now they've cooked into a solid paste. This will be interesting. I'm going to add, like I was saying before, how chickens need a little bit of rocks too, and can't really see that. It's a bag full of small rock. It's called grit. And chickens need that to break up things like the sunflower seed shells. See? So I'm going to be mixing these rocks in here because they need that just a little bit to break things up. Although they probably find rocks outside too. So this is just to make sure that they're getting at least some with this mix. The next thing I'll be adding before the coconut oil is some honey. And I think this helps them. They don't get too many sweet things, and honey has some health benefits as well. There's coconut oil already. But the honey has some antibacterial properties as well, and it has some benefits, like I think there's some vitamins in there maybe a little bit. And hopefully it'll help cover up the taste of the turmeric and the oregano, which the chickens don't really like too much. These are the cookie cutters I bought, and I showed in a haul that I will probably post. So what I'm going to do here is I'm just going to grab a handful of this, make it nice and dense, and fill this cookie cutter up with my hand at the bottom there. Just going to pack it full. Just get my hands nice and messy. There was no clean way of doing this. Just pack it nice and full and tight. You can see there's some holes there in there, so pack them tight so they don't fall apart, or at least hopefully there'll be less chance of them falling apart. Okay, now to try and get it out of here without breaking the points. I don't know if I'll be able to do this. I'll keep trying. Oh, there we go. I'm gonna give it a little, there we go, a little, yeah, it's doing okay. I'm gonna squish it down a little bit just to compress it again. And there's my star. And it's a little delicate, so I'm going to put it in the pan right away to freeze overnight before I do. I almost forgot, I need to put the holes in them. I'm going to go straight through the middle since they're a little crumbly. Straight through the middle. See, a little crumbly. Have to maybe form it around there again. Handful or two here. I've got 2 handfuls, and I'm going to start squishing them together. Let's see if I can get this in view. There we go. Actually, once it heats up in your hand, it starts to stick together pretty well. So there's my ball. It's not too bad for hand done. It's not a perfect spear, but my chickens are just gonna peck it apart anyways. These are the ones I froze from last night. The balls are pretty solid. They're not crumbly at all anymore, as you can see. They're pretty good. Looped the string around the end of a needle, or the eye of a needle, and I'm just taking a piece of string doubled over at around, this is my first time I'm thinking about almost a foot, and I'm just going to cut that. Here's the star. I'm just going to drop that needle down the middle. Oops, piece of corn fell off. That should. So it's almost there, but I'm just going to use my hole poker to poke it the rest of the way through. Hopefully that was enough. Yep, see? There's the needle at the bottom. And I'm just going to go like that. I'm going to then tie off the open end. And I'm going to do 2 knots just to make sure it stays. Try to get them to line up. Good. Okay. Then I'm going to open this up like so, and I want that end opened up as well. I want them to go around some of the star points. Maybe something like that. Then I'm going to have to cut off here by the needle. Right up there. Oops. Should probably just slide out. There we go. That off as well. There we go. Let's see if the chickens like that. They haven't even noticed the hanging frozen star one yet. But they've also been conditioned to know that a bowl or bowls or trays have food on them, so that's why they're pretty much finishing that one off first. I don't think they've even paid attention to the hanging star one yet. Friends all watching for a chance to see what the chickens are up to and what they got fed. Although they don't get a chance until the rooster's actually in this coop because he doesn't like visitors. I'm going to give the crows this other crumbling baked one since the frozen ones will be too hard for the crows to pick apart quick enough. So yeah, they're all over here sitting around waiting to see if there's anything for them. So I'll give them that. They keep the predator birds away, so they deserve something nice every once in a while. So let's see if I can get it on the garage roof for them. Probably gonna crumble all to hell. Yep, they should like that though. They're watching.